Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellow Show. I'm your host, the Fellow KGP. We're going to be hanging out Thursday night hangout tonight. We're just going to be going over anything that comes across our mind. We'll answer questions from the chat room, and we'll just kind of, we'll try to touch on as many players as we can tonight. What's going on, Aaron, man? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. I got the news parts pulled up here. I think we have 5 or 6 games tonight. We got a couple games on TNT as well. But Kyle Kuzma's ruled out tonight. Malachi Flynn. I don't know if you guys seen Malachi Flynn's numbers, but he's getting the start against Chicago tonight. John Wall won't play tomorrow. Otto Porter Jr. won't play tomorrow. And Tyler Hero is available to play tonight, so we'll see about that. But we just got a lot of injuries and stuff going on right now. You look at the Pelicans, they've been dinged up for the last week or so with Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball. It was nice to see Zion return the other night. But just a lot of injury news that you got to stay up on. So keeping on top of the waiver wire has been extremely important this year. So we got a question here. Will Drummond return? I thought I saw he was clear for tonight. I don't know if because they start in like half an hour, so they should have something. It looks like he doesn't have an injury tag here. He will play tonight against the Heat. So the Lakers and the Heat tip off 6:30 scheduled start time, so it should be a little bit after that. But Drummond returns tonight. I don't know how many minutes he's going to be on. He did only play in 14 minutes against the Bucks back then, so I would expect maybe 15, no more than 20 minutes tonight here. So if you got him, get him in your lineup. Andre Drummond does return tonight. Just want to go back here and see if there's any other news. I do want to look at Malachi Flynn because he's been putting up some really good numbers, and he should be available on most waiver wires. There's the John Wall. He's not playing tomorrow night. Otto Porter Jr. not playing tomorrow night. No Isaiah Roby tonight, so maybe some big Moses Brown minutes here. Let's see what else we got here. Brogdon's questionable to play tonight. The Pacers been hit with some injuries here. You see no Miles Turner for tomorrow. Brogdon is questionable. Let's see here. Zach Levine's playing tonight. So a lot of things to keep an eye on. If you guys have more questions about in or outs tonight, we can get to that. What happened to Harrell and OG Anunoby? So OG got in a fight the other night. I don't know if you saw this. I don't know if I'll have the video on here, but he got ejected after a scuffle here. Let me see if I can play this. Might have to go through an ad first, but so what's the move here? It's a hard foul. Looks like Dennis Schroeder. Oh, then he picked him up. Interesting. I don't know if he needed to be ejected for that, but that's what happened. So OG only played 10 minutes against the Lakers the other night. He got ejected. I think he's been fined as well, but he's clear to play. He hasn't been suspended or anything. So that's why OG kind of put up a really crappy stat line. But it's kind of concerning, only 3 fantasy points in 10 minutes. So that's what happened to OG. He's back tonight. I would expect some big numbers from him. Interesting game. If you just look at so Bulls and Raptors tonight, if we look at the standings, these teams are neck and neck with each other. So Chicago holds that 10th spot for the play-in game, and the Raptors are 2 games behind them. So that's going to be probably a pretty tough contest. Now let's look at Montrezl Harrell. What's going on, Justin, man? Thanks for hanging out. We're looking at Montrezl Harrell right now. Let's see what happened to him. So only 2. He was ejected, I guess, in that scuffle as well. So I didn't see him in the video replay here, but he looks like he got into some shoving match here. So OG and Harrell. I don't know if Harrell got fined, but I don't think suspensions are coming. We'll see. So that's why those guys didn't perform. Talon Horton Tucker got suspended in that one. Did he throw a punch for his role? Tucker, Bembry, and Fred VanVleet were all hit with 1-game bans for leaving the bench during. Okay, so it was between Schroeder and OG Anunoby, but those guys all left the bench. So none of those guys are playing tonight. Tucker, Bembry, and VanVleet all. Well, I think VanVleet was injured, so nothing to be surprised there. But the Lakers will be a little bit shorthanded. Do you think Mason is playing tonight? I hope so. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's take a look here. So they still say he's questionable. I think they got the late start tonight. Yeah, in Sacramento, so we really don't know too much about Plumlee here. Is there a way for me to search Plumlee? And it's going to be a late start, so we probably won't know for another couple hours here. Oh, there's Plumlee. So he's got the concussion. He was not listed on Wednesday's final injury report. Should he not be able to play, rookie Isaiah Stewart would be the player most likely to move up into the starting lineup. So maybe more minutes for Stewart if Mason Plumlee does play. It's a concussion. I don't know if they're going to be forced to throw him out there, but he's not on the injury report from yesterday. So that's good news there. Yeah, so I like Hartenstein. I'm going to start with Flynn, though, because I've picked up Malachi in one of my leagues, and it's been I've had him for the last 2 games. So he's going to continue to hit these 30 minutes. Like, he's the only guy getting minutes here, and he kind of just fills everything out. So I think as long as we know Van Vliet's out tonight, I still don't know what's up with here. Let me see. Let me try to get Lowry up here. Lowry. Because Flynn's only going to have value as long as these guys are out. So let's take a look. And then Van Vliet. All right, so what's up with Kyle Lowry? So he remains out with a foot. Said back on March 31st that he expected Lowry to miss 7 to 10 days. So we're still in that 7 to 10 days. I guess we're in that 7 to 10 day window. So if it is the 10th day, maybe 2 more days of Lowry being out. And then with Van Vliet, let's see here. Not a lot of information here. So he's just out with that hip injury. I don't see any timetables. There's no timetables for Van Vliet yet. So as far as schedule goes, Flynn's going to get the start tonight, and I would bet maybe one of Lowry or Van Vliet will be back for this game against the Cleveland, but it is a back-to-back, so I would bet that they're eased into these 2 games, and Malachi Flynn, at least for the rest of the week. So it's the 8th today, Friday the 9th, Saturday. I'm holding on to Flynn. You get 3 games in the next 4 days. I really don't care what he does in these 2 days. I'm just going to leave him in my lineup. And then I would assume we'd be able to maybe dump him on the 12th if you're feeling so. But it does have 2 games, 13th and 14th. So we got to watch Van Vliet and Lowry's injury reports. So the rest of the week, I'm holding on to Flynn. Let's see here. Clear that. And let's go look at Cleveland here, because Mr. Hartenstein's been playing really good. I'm going to just filter by the last 7 days. So last 7 days, Hartenstein's been getting 27.3 points per game. His minutes have been kind of inconsistent, but I think he's going to be somewhere hovering around 20 minutes per game. I think if you look at this on a 4-game span, I'm going to take this all day. I'll give him some slack on 1 game per week here. But I don't see any problem with it. As long as Jared Allen's out, you're going to see this guy get a lot of extra minutes. I want to filter here by the all players here. Let's turn that off. So last 7 days, he's been their 3rd best player over the last 7 days. And this is with Kevin Love even being back in the mix here. Love's only missed, he's playing tonight, but he remains on a minutes restriction. So they're always going to use 2 power forwards and 1 center potentially. So as long as Allen's out, he was ruled out tonight, so we're going to be okay. And then what's up with Larry Nance? He's got an illness, and he's been out for a while. So I think I'm going to keep rolling with Hartenstein the rest of the week. This is another team. They got 3 games in the next 4 days. So if you want to pick someone up here that's got some value, even if Allen or Nance comes back, those guys are likely to be eased back in with the minutes, and Hartenstein's playing very well. So this is a good one. I like Flynn and Hartenstein for the rest of the week here, both with 3 games in the next 4 days. So when will Hunter going to come back? Let's take a look at Deandre Hunter and the Atlanta Hawks. So he's going to undergo minor procedure on his right knee. So this happened on Monday. He's only going to be out a couple of days, so maybe this is just kind of like a scope. Let's see here. He's probably out the rest of the week here, I would bet, just looking at their schedule. Maybe not to the 13th or the 15th against Milwaukee, but I'm getting a little bit nervous about DeAndre Hunter. I'm almost wondering if they should just shut him down and let that knee heal for a little bit. I mean, they tried to fire him back up, but some things flared back up. So I'm not super excited about Hunter. He's got a pretty low percent rostership too, and I just don't see them giving him, his minutes. I mean, before he got hurt, he was averaging 31 and a half minutes per game here. I just don't think we're going to see him being very useful for fantasy the rest of the way, at least not until later. So I might be okay with dropping Hunter. If you can hold on to him in the IR, I think that's fine. But I'm not excited about Hunter right now with that knee injury. Killian Hayes. So he did miss the other night because they've been kind of keeping him kind of in check here. So where is Mr. Hayes? So he's played 2 games since his return, somewhere between 20 and 25 minutes. He just needs to get consistent. We can't be having these 9.25s. I don't know if he's playing tonight or not. I'm assuming he's going to play tonight. They gave him the night off on the 6th, so he should be playing tonight. Is he worth picking up? I think if you have a really good roster right now where you don't you're not like in a must-win situation, like if you have 9, 10, maybe even 11 wins, I think I'd consider holding on to him. He's only going to get more workload as the season goes on. So if you have the room and you got some some patience, I think I'd be okay with adding him. They got 3 games in the next 4 days. I'll be interested to see if they give him the night off on one, the back-to-back here. That seems like that's kind of the way it's going to go. So we'll just have to monitor his minutes. But if you have patience, I picked up Killian Hayes in one of my other leagues, so I'm trying to see what he's got in him. So Justin's got Allen. When he comes back, I will switch them. But they also played 3 out of 4 games this week. Yep. Rocco, I also have Robert, Covington, Duncan, and Green, which they are showing up. Which Green we talking about here? Probably Danny. Danny Green's been a pretty good player lately. For 10, 12-man leagues, he's 10-man leagues, he's a fringe guy, but 12-man leagues, I think he needs to be owned at this point. Still really low rostership here. I think that needs to be up a little bit. So I just want to go check out we're going to go check out the watch list and see how the watch list is doing from the video I put up on Sunday night. I like to check and see what's going on with the guys. So who's averaging the most points? Kyle Anderson, but he's majorly owned. Wendell Carter Jr. still remains pretty low owned. Let's see here. Anybody stick out? I still like Gary Trent Jr. It seems he's got a massive spike. He's gone up 18% in the last few days. But I think for now, like his low end games, like he'll get you like a 14 or a 17 every now and then. But he's a very streaky shooter. So if you need someone for your bench, man, Gary Trent Jr. is going to get. You just look at the minutes that he's getting. Like this is more consistent and stronger minutes than he got with Portland here. So I like, and the Raptors, man, they're kind of injured right now with Lowry and Van Vliet. So he seems like a pretty good pickup. And I'm just filtering my pickups the last few days. Jalen Brunson, man. If you guys are in a 12-man league, I think Brunson needs to be picked up right now. I'm going to pull up another side window here, and then I just want to pull up the rest of the way schedule. We can start to look at that stuff now. Let me see if I can find it real quick. But Brunson, man, only 32.5% rostered. He's averaging 22 points per game on the season, which is pretty damn good. But the last 7 days, like he's averaging 27 points. So I'm just gonna flick this onto here. So this is the remaining schedule, the rest of the season here. I still have week 15 in here. I might just go ahead and delete this. We'll delete that column. So we're looking at total games the rest of the way. Dallas is one of the teams that have some of the most games. So I like picking up Brunson here. But the reason why we like picking up players on Dallas, San Antonio, Memphis, again, they all have 13 games in the playoffs. So if you can pick up a guy like Brunson, you could pick up a guy like Derek White or something off of San Antonio. Memphis has a few guys too. So we can look closely at those teams. But I just think, man, if you are interested in making a good run here, picking up a guy like Brunson, and again, you look at week 18, this should be the first round of your playoffs. We're looking at Dallas, OKC, and Toronto. So again, Gary Trent, we've talked a lot about Moses Brown for OKC. A lot of these guys, that they're going to help you get through your first week. And if you have a bye, all of a sudden, week 19, we're looking at Detroit players. So a guy like Killian Hayes, if he gets healthier and they're not giving him the back-to-backs off, that could be interesting. So we can look at this more if you got questions. But again, I'm kind of looking at it's like a week to Dallas, Memphis, and San Antonio have the most games 18, 19 in playoff stretch. So back to Brunson real quick. Even with a healthy Luka, he's hitting 30 minutes per game right now, which is pretty significant. You see 22, 29, 26. Just a player, he needs to be. Looks like in this league, he is picked up. Dang it. What about my other? I might have to make a pickup here on the spot. Is Jalen Brunson available? He is picked up. And I think so. He's numbers. Yeah, that's scroll. Are we back? I think I'm okay. Let me know in the comments if everything's smooth. So I'm seeing Justin Trent got picked up. And then should I give Wall and Robert Covington and get Chris and Bledsoe? Let me pull these guys up on the list here. We'll do a little compare. I mean, I'm probably in favor of getting rid of John Wall. And Robert, that's the piece that you're giving away is Robert Covington. And then Cash Money. And then Belds. Eric Bledsoe. Okay. So you would be getting Middleton and Bledsoe in this deal. On the season, it looks like Wall and Covington are the favorites here. Wall hasn't been playing lately, though. He just had that massive game, though. The first game back, 59 points. But he's out for tomorrow night, so they're sitting him on back-to-backs, it looks like. I could see you wanting to take the safety with Middleton. And then Bledsoe's been on an uprise because of all the injuries going on in New Orleans. So he might fade. But I think just looking at John Wall right now, he's been kind of injury prone throughout his career. He's already missed, they're already sitting him on back-to-backs. I might go ahead and pull this deal. Even if he comes back and starts putting up these numbers, I don't think you're losing that much with Chris Middleton here, who in his own right, he's super consistent. He's going to put up points. So I think I might be okay with doing this. And Bledsoe's been fine. So Wall's just an injury risk right now. If he's missing games, I think I'd rather have Chris Middleton and Bledsoe. What's going on, Aiden, man? Thanks for hanging out tonight. I saw he got injured the other night. Here, let me clear this. Whoop. Anthony Edwards. Who are we talking about? Whose surgery here? Hear about the surgery. Which surgery are we talking about? John Wall knee scope. I didn't see that on the thing. Is that what it was? Was that today? Was that a while ago? When was his knee scoped? I mean, I think the rest of the way I'd rather own Kevin Porter Jr. Let's see. So, I mean, I'd totally be cool with letting go of John Wall here. So I do have, in this league that I got, I have Pokashevsky here. He had a nice game the other night, 25 points, 9 boards, 4 assists, and only 3 turnovers. I think the rest of the way, this is a guy that could be, pretty beneficial. Again, we looked at that schedule here. OKC, they do play 12 games during the playoff stretch, and they're also one of those few teams that do play 5 games in the first round of the playoffs here. So I like picking up OKC players here. Yeah, he's free right now. He's only 16% owned. I think 12-man leagues. I think at this point, he's getting 30 plus. He's been one of their best players for a while now. So we know SGA is going to be out for a while. Who knows what's up with Lugens Dort? Let me pull up OKC here. OKC, let's see. When's Dort coming back? He's got a chance to play, it sounds like, on Saturday, so maybe Dort comes back. That shouldn't be too big of an effect for Poku. But man, the OKC is just they're running out of bodies. And where's Moses? Where's sweet Moses? So he's kind of on a cooldown. The last 4 games, he's kind of settled back to reality, but I still think in a 12-man league, he needs to be owned. Let's see here. Looking at Diallo, yes. So I think did they get pummeled the other night? I mean, it was the Nuggets. But yeah, I don't know what it like. He didn't get a lot of. He only got 17 minutes against Denver here, so not the best game. I'm still holding on to Diallo. I think he's. You look at this 4-game sample of 30, 18, 35, and 42. I think I'm going to be okay with a hiccup every now and then. And yeah, Detroit, man, they gotta keep pumping in some players here. They play late tonight, and Jeremy Grant's out tonight, so it might be a really big Diallo night. I would assume Diallo's fine to play. I don't see him on the injury report. We're still waiting to see if Plumlee has been cleared for tonight, late game against the Kings. Josh Jackson's been he had been doing good until everything just kind of stopped for Detroit against Denver here, only 9.5, but he had been turning things around the last few games. Corey Joseph remains to be a pretty solid asset for Detroit right now. I don't know what the minutes were just really weird for this game here. Let's just pull this up. Let's look at the box score. So they made it look a little closer than what it was. Jeremy Grant, 30 minutes. Sadiq Bey had a good game, 25 points in that one. Let's look at Bey real quick. And Bey's just one of those guys where he just can't keep it consistent. We can't be having these 3s and these 7s. So that's a little frustrating. The minutes have been, trailing off too. He was getting consistently around 30 minutes per game. So maybe he's a guy to keep on the watch list and just see what happens. Let's see if anybody else sticks out here. Not really. This was a pretty rough game for Detroit, all the way around. Pretty frustrating game here. But we're going on about 24 minutes. You guys got more questions, keep filing them in. Otherwise, why don't I just we're just going to go to all players here. I'm going to see who rises to the top of these lists. So the Giannis game the other day was that was back on the second, but still 71 points. Jesus. So I'm just filtering right now by fantasy points, and I'm looking at the percent rostered stuff. As we go down, see who sticks out. Bogdan Bogdanovic. Do you guys play in shallow leagues where you could pick up a Bogdan Bogdanovic? I'd rather own Bogdan than Deandre Hunter the rest of the way. That's easy to say. You look at these minutes Bogdan's been putting up. 36, 30, 33, 33, 45, 37. And 5 of his last 6 games have been over 20 points. The fantasy points, these are elites. This is top 50 numbers for fantasy basketball. So I'm really into Bogdan. He's up 32% over the last few days. So I think he needs some love here. We're looking at a start bench cut of James Johnson, Olynyk, and Robert Williams. Whew. I think this one's pretty easy. I don't even know if I have to look it up. We're keeping Robert Williams. I think that's the starter that we're going to use. Here, let me clear those guys. And I'm glad you brought up Olynyk because I think I don't get his low rostership yet. And then James Johnson, I like James Johnson. He's been playing some good minutes, but a lot of his minutes have been because of injury lately. I don't expect this to continue. He's had a really nice run. I just don't know if that's going to continue with, I mean, again, Ingram, Zion were both out the last few games. Lonzo Ball continues to be kind of in and out of the lineup. So long term, I don't like James Johnson. I think he could be a guy that you pick up if there's other injuries. But at the moment right now, we're keeping Robert Williams. Like this guy, I know it's been frustrating the last couple games, but he's got too much upside here to let go. So I'm starting Roberts, and then Kelly Olynyk, man, he continues to thrive with the Houston Rockets. You look at his, since he's been there, he's been a must-start player in 8, 10, 12-man leagues. You see a couple 4 games or 3 games over 40 fantasy points, only 1 game below 20 fantasy points. So he's only 47% rostered, and he's going to, 18 rebounds the other night. I think he's going to be a guy that continues to help us down the stretch. So I might even, as of right now, I might even start Olynyk. I might bench Robert Williams. He's been kind of weak the last couple games. And then I'm probably going to let James Johnson go. But that's more of a long-term view. I think even in a short term, I'm still going to start Olynyk and then probably do the same stuff there. So what's this other one we got going on here? Start, bench, cut. Grayson Allen, Davis Bertans, and Daniel Green. I saw ESPN's front page trying to pump up Bertans. I don't know how I feel about it. But Grayson Allen, man, he's been playing pretty well lately. And then Danny Green. So this is going to be a tough one because these are all guys that you could probably get in a 12-man league. Look at the percent rostership of this trio. 15.8 for Bertans, 5.2 for Grayson Allen, and 28.7 for Danny Green. In terms of the 7 days, Grayson Allen's been the best performer by about 1.6 points. Look at the last 15 days. Who's been the better player? Goes to Danny Green just by a little bit. We look at the 2021 season, and it's all 18, 20, and 21. So it's very close. I don't know. I kind of like Grayson Allen. So if I'm thinking long term, again, because we look at this schedule so damn much, Memphis Grizzlies, man, they play 4 games minimum the rest of the way in a given week. So I like that quite a bit. They're one of the few teams that actually, only a handful of teams play 4 games the rest of the week. That's Memphis, San Antonio, Washington, the Suns, Charlotte, and Chicago. So I'm kind of into keeping Grayson Allen. We did say the Washington team here does play 4 games at least the rest of the way. He's just way too inconsistent. I'm willing to, in a 12-man league, I'd own him, but I think I'm going to take Grayson Allen over him. He seems to be a little bit more consistent. He also fills out some of the other stats much better than Bertans. And again, I like Danny Green, who's probably the safest pickup of the group here. He's just going to continue to play these minutes. But just looking at what we looked at long term, I'm gonna go with Grayson Allen. I'm gonna bench Danny Green, and we're gonna let Bertans go. I think that's what we'll do. Do we pick up Gallo? Let's see here. Gallinari or Langston Galloway? Who are we talking about here? Let me pull up. What's Langston Galloway up to? We're not talking Langston Galloway, are we? We're talking Gallinari. So I've had Gallinari on my team for maybe the last 2 weeks, and he's been playing pretty well. This injury concerns me. It's an ankle injury. I don't like ankle injuries for shooters. If he comes back quickly, I think it depends on who you would cut, Justin. If you want to give me a list of players you want to potentially pick up over him, because he's got value. He gets minutes. He puts up points. He had been playing really, really well during the month of March. So I think in a 12-man league, maybe even in a 10-man league, there is some value there for Gallinari. Streamers tonight. Start, bench, cut. Flynn, Garland, and Kenrick Williams. Man, I think we got to ride the Flynn train. That game's starting like any minute here, so this is. I think right now I'm probably gonna say that's the guy I want. You can pick up Garland though. That's pretty crazy. You should almost just pick up Garland for the rest of the way. So last 7 days, Flynn's the best one. But man, like if you can hold on to Garland the rest of the way, man. Whew. Well, I think everyone knows Flynn doesn't have much lasting value. So if you're short term, pick up Flynn tonight. If you want to just stash and hold Garland, I think that's the smart play long term. If you're trying to win a championship, Garland can definitely help us in that regard. I don't see Cleveland as a team with a ton of games the rest of the way. Where's Cleveland on this list? So they do have, after this week, after next week, they do play 4 games the rest of the way. So I think, and then Toronto's got that big 5 there, but that's Flynn. Okay. If you just want a guy for tonight, go Flynn. If you want a guy for lasting, a couple weeks, maybe the rest of the season, go with Garland. And it is okay. Like Cleveland's playing OKC. I think Kenrich Williams, he's got some decent value going up against Cleveland tonight. I think give me Garland though. I think that's what I'm gonna do. That's a good question tonight. I like that one. I don't see Flynn having much more value than maybe 3 or 4 more games. But Garland and Kenrich Williams, he could have some, with Dort coming back and a couple other guys getting healthier, he could get kind of on a downtrend. Whereas Garland's going to continue to put up a lot of minutes. So that's what we're going to do there. So Danny Green, Flynn, and Cavs center guy. Is this short term, Justin? Long term? Give me long term. I'm going to cut Flynn. If you're looking for long term, I think Cavs center guy Hartenstein. I think he could be kind of interesting. Otherwise, Danny Green's safe and steady. So short term, give me Flynn. Long term, I think. I like Hartenstein. With Larry Nance and Jarrett Allen both coming back at some point, I think. Oh, that's who you would drop. Okay. So that's who you would drop for Allen or Gallinari. I would say pick up Grayson Allen and then hold on to Flynn the rest of the I think you could probably let Danny Green go. He seems to be like an easy guy that you could probably pick up 20 points, and have that be your thing. Whereas, again, Flynn and Hartenstein, they both have 3 games in the next 4 days. So I kind of see that value being pretty nice. And I think Danny Green's not a huge commodity. I don't think maybe someone doesn't even pick him up, right away. So I think I would go with Grayson Allen in that situation over Danny Green. Start bench cut. Isaiah Stewart, Pokuševski, and Patty Williams. All right. I like Alexej Pokuševski. I don't know if I'm saying that name right, but it is fine. So Isaiah Stewart, if this is just for tonight, Aiden, I think Isaiah Stewart's probably getting the start. I would imagine he's getting the start. So Aiden, is this question for just tonight? We're probably looking at roster locks pretty quickly here. If you need a guy for tonight, just give me Pokuševski. I trust him. These guys are all rookies, I think, right? Give me Pokuševski against Cleveland. I think that's what I would want. If we're gonna bench a guy, Patrick Williams has been playing really good lately, though. 5 straight games of 30+ minutes. Isaiah Stewart, he's been putting up some nice minutes too. I see the conundrum here now. I'm just going to go with Pokuševski. I seem to trust him a little bit more. He's been, a little bit more consistent than the other guys. So I'm going to start him. I'll probably hold on to Patrick Williams and let Stewart go just because Plum will be back at some point. Long term. And if you're going long term, I'm keeping Pokuševski, man. Long term, give me him. For some reason, they like Patrick Williams. Getting a ton of minutes here. They have a lot of guys in Chicago, so I don't know if I see his ceiling here. Whereas with Stewart, he needs Plumlee to be injured for him to have the big value. So I think I'm going to let Stewart go. He still has some inconsistencies, and maybe hold on to Patrick Williams. But I think Pokuševski's probably the guy that I would want long term here. So we're doing Wesley Matthews here. Let me clear this up. Wes Matthews. And Nurk. Gary Harris. Otto Porter, I think he's out. I think we read at the top of the show he's out. So Aiden, is this one short term? This one's got to be long term. I haven't seen Gary Harris play in a long time. Looks like he's available to make his debut tomorrow. Interesting. So maybe Gary Harris plays tomorrow night. Start bench cut. Nurkic. I don't know what's up. Like I just he just can't. He's made of glass. I don't get it. His tendons are made of spaghetti and his bones are made of glass. We're gonna see him get dropped, I think, a lot. And then Wes Matthews, if you just need a guy for tonight, I mean, go with Wes Matthews. He's starting tonight against the Heat. Nurkic, we still don't know what he's going on here. So if we're start benching and cutting, I don't like Wesley Matthews for the long term. He's been playing decently. I might be interested in seeing what Gary Harris does with Orlando. But I think for now, if you're looking long term, you're going to keep Nurkic just to see what happens. And then maybe Harris has some value long term, but I just think the minutes in Orlando are going to be a little weak. So this is a tough one. It's a tough one. I just don't see Wes Matthews offering much value the rest of the way here. And Otto Porter Jr. So let's go look at Orlando. So he's missed the last 3 games. He's listed as out tomorrow night. I'm probably not waiting for Otto Porter to get back. I kind of want to pull up. Let me go to ESPN here. Let's take a look at Orlando's depth chart. Just because they got so many guys now. I think the minutes are going to be kind of frustrating over there. Where's Orlando? Okay, so guys that I want to own on the Orlando Magic, Cole Anthony is one. How's Cole Anthony been doing in his return? So just the one game, but pretty solid in his return. He's only 15% owned, guys. If you want somebody, all right. Thanks for hanging out, Justin. Man, we'll see you on the flip side. Enjoy the Laker game. And then there's the Cole Anthony right on cue. I think if anyone's still listening, man, Cole Anthony is probably the one guy that excites me quite a bit to pick up for the rest of the season. You know, he's going to get a ton of minutes. He gets 26 in his first game back. I like that. They were very patient with him, so I think he's more than healthy. And it was a rib injury, so it's nothing that's like, you know, ligament or anything too concerning with his foot or his hand or anything. So only 15% owned, guys. Cole Anthony, go get him. So he's number one priority, I think, for the Orlando Magic. I think Wendell Carter Jr. needs to be owned. Chuma Okeke. Over the last 7 days, Okeke's been one of their best players. So not so much the other night here, but look at it. Look at his minutes like the last week or so. I think Okeke, 40% owned. He's seen a spike lately. He probably needs to be owned at this point, so I do like him quite a bit. James Ennis is a solid scorer. What's he been putting up for buckets? So James Ennis, guys, if you need a guy for a night, try James Ennis every now and then. He's got 37, 36, 38 minutes. If you see Terrence Ross is out, then I would go with James Ennis. And then Terrence Ross, I think, is the last guy that needs to be owned. So as far as Orlando Magic players that I want on my team, Cole Anthony, Terrence Ross, Okeke, Carter. Let me just look at Dwayne Bacon real quick. Dwayne Bacon, nothing too crazy. RJ Hampton had been getting some nice run. We'll keep an eye on RJ Hampton. I think his minutes might go down though, as Cole Anthony's go up. But Orlando, man, interesting little mess. I did see that they might be cutting Kem Birch. They are planning to cut Birch, who's expected to sign with the Raptors upon clearing. If you guys want a center, Kem Birch. He's going to get a ton of minutes with Toronto. So keep an eye on Kem Birch here. I definitely am interested in Kem Birch because Toronto does not have a center. They need someone to plug in. I think it's been Aaron Baines all season, and Kem Birch should be their starter. Like, he's better than Aaron Baines. So something to stay ahead of here. Kem Birch signing with the Raptors. Probably going to be playing with them very soon. Let me see if anybody else sticks out. So if Kem Birch is cut, that's going to mean more minutes for Mo Bamba. And Mo Bamba has been playing pretty dang good lately. And you just look at his last 7 games. I'll take this. These 13 minutes, 11 minutes, those are going to go away. If Kem Birch is not on the team, those are going to go away. You're probably going to see him somewhere in the 20 to 25 minutes per game range. So Mo Bamba, guys, he's going to split time with Wendell Carter Jr. Mo Bamba is number 2 here, so keep an eye on Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba and Kem Birch can have value for us down the stretch here. Ronde, Hollis, Jefferson? Interesting. Well, I don't know if he's going to be fantasy relevant, but we'll let me just type in Hollis. Ronde. Where's he been? He's just been chilling? Yeah, if he gets minutes, we'll keep an eye on him. All right, but start, bench, cut. Cole Anthony, Poku, and Bey. I can't trust Saddiq Bey. Start, bench, cut. Pikachu. And Bey. Okay, last 7 days, Saddiq Bey. He's just too inconsistent. I don't want to hold on to him. I'm optimistic for him in the future, though. Not right now. I'm probably going to start. I'm going to continue to start Pokusevski and hold on to Cole Anthony. So Cole Anthony can sit on my bench if that's the case. But I'd rather have Anthony and Pokusevski here. Those guys excite me the most. But man, I'm excited about this Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba getting number 2 minutes. I mean, they kind of do this weird rotation with Okiki, Carter, and Mo Bamba. Those guys are going to get minutes split. But all this Kem Birch, this Kem Birch development, guys, we should be ahead of Kem Birch coming to the Raptors. Let's just look at their weak depth chart. They got Pascal Siakam starting at center. That's not right. So they really don't even have a center. That might move Gary Trent Jr. to the bench as the 6th man when they get healthier here. I just want to look at the minutes from this game against the Lakers last night. So they didn't even start a center last night. They started Siakam, who played 41 minutes. Boucher gets the start. So they've been starting Boucher at the center essentially. Bembry's out tonight. And Aaron Baines only 12 minutes. Not going to cut it. So something to keep an eye on here. Kem Birch could be useful down the stretch. Ben Mack. Yeah, I should have held on to that. Let me see here. Let's go back to that. So what did he do in his minutes? Did he play for them recently? I know he was signed earlier in the week. Did he get a game? So he's playing tonight. I don't know what kind of minutes restriction he'd be on. But we'll keep an eye on him. So a little fantasy value playoffs. Nets or Knicks. The rest of the season here, especially in the fantasy playoffs, I mean, the Knicks only have 11 games. The Nets also have 11 games. I mean, Brooklyn's got 4, 3, and 4, and the Knicks have 3, 4, and 4. So it's kind of the same thing. And with Brooklyn too, I think the only players you want to own on Brooklyn are part of the big three, unless one of those guys are out that makes something more interesting to happen. Whereas the Knicks could have things spread out a little bit more, so maybe the Knicks have more fantasy value. I mean, at the moment right now, you're starting Randall and RJ Barrett. Reggie Bullock has been playing well. This rotation of Gibson and Nerlens Noel has been frustrating. Derrick Rose is starting to get back into the swing of things. And if we look at Brooklyn real quick, I mean, Brooklyn's all about, I guess, with Aldridge now kind of roaring back. I'll go with the Nets have more fantasy value. Yeah, we looked at Jeff Green earlier. His last 4 games have been great. The minutes have been fantastic. What I like about him is he doesn't need to score a lot of buckets to have a good fantasy night, so he's pretty consistent for the most part. If you get a 14 out of him the next game, that's fine. He'll dump in another 20 or 30 the next game. So Jeff Green playing pretty well here, and with Harden out for the next 8 to 10 days, you're going to see a lot of weird minutes. The Blake Griffin stuff is just, I don't think Blake Griffin needs to be owned in fantasy, guys. This just seems super inconsistent. He's going to get the back-to-backs off. I would probably try to trade Blake Griffin or let him go free. And Bruce Brown continues to play well. So this was last night. He went off for 9 points, 8 boards, 2 assists, 5 steals, and 2 blocks. So he's probably if you're looking for a pickup while Harden is out, Bruce Brown. We talked about him on Tuesday night. Bruce Brown's probably the guy for you. So keep an eye out for Bruce Brown. But anyways, we got some basketball started. I got some other things to go and take care of. I think I'm going to get out of here for tonight. That's going to do it for the Thursday night hangout. I will be live next Tuesday and Thursday as well. Watch for the waiver wire video. I'm probably going to put that out on Sunday. Let me see. We got one more question in here. How many points the short king get the other day? You're talking Isaiah Thomas? Who are we talking about here? Who's the short king? If you're talking about Isaiah Thomas, 11 points, 3 assists, that's solid. You see if his minutes aren't going to be consistent on the Pelicans, but good to see him back and having some fun. Yeah, man, we're starting football soon. I think I'm preparing some videos because I got to get some stuff done about the rookies. I have quarterback, running back, tight end, and receiver videos to put out. So those are going to start coming up before the draft. And then I think once the draft is complete, then I pretty much shift to mostly football, but it's going to be basketball all the way until week 20 for fantasy basketball. So I don't think I'll cover basketball during like the real playoffs or anything, but I don't know how they're going to get Pitts, man. Just looking at this, look at this draft order real quick. So Jacksonville's sitting at 1. They don't pick again until 25. Pitts is gonna be gone by 25, man. There's no way he makes it there. They could go receiver. They could go receiver. I mean, but then you're looking at bundling. I mean, for me, you got 33 and 25. I think you got to hold on to those picks. You also got 40. Is this Minnesota's now? Oh, that goes back to Jacksonville. So Minnesota's goes back to Jacksonville. Man, you got 25, 45, and 33. Jacksonville's over here playing like Madden franchise mode. They got freaking 5 picks in the first 65. It's exciting. I mean, to get Pitts, though, you're going to have to get up into here. You're going to have to move probably around 10. You could even see Pitts go a little bit higher, too. There's going to be a lot of buzz and excitement for him. I like Bateman quite a bit. You could probably get Bateman in this range. I want the Packers to take Bateman if that's possible. We'll see if they actually do something useful for us this year. But Oh man, a lot of good receivers in this area. You might even be able to get. I think offensive line could be interesting here at 25. Otherwise, I mean, hold on to these picks, 25 and 33, and just keep collecting. We just need a tight end. I'm trying to think of any tight ends still available. You can go pick up a tight end. I don't know. Your tight ends aren't bad. The tight ends in Jacksonville aren't terrible. I don't know if you guys re-signed Tyler Eifert. I don't know about this website. But man, you guys got 5 picks in the first 65. If you want a tight end, Pat Freiermuth for Penn State, he's a really good guy. You could probably get him 45. That could be a fun one here. So if you want a tight end, that's probably the spot to do it. This mock draft's got you guys taking Trevor Lawrence, safety Trevon Moehrig, offensive tackle Liam Eckenberg, Pat Freiermuth. Here's the Penn State tight end, and then Rondale Moore. I don't know. I'm going to be telling people to draft LaVisca all summer, so get ready for that. But anyways, man, we're going to get the football content going. Got a guy from the Panthers. What do you get from the Panthers? What you get from the Panthers? You guys got Carlos Hyde. Who'd you get from the Panthers? What'd you get from the Panthers? AJ Bouye? Then the Panthers got AJ Bouye. Chris Manhertz. Manhertz is fine. He's a blocking tight end. I don't mind Chris Manhertz. Manhertz, he's going to be on the field a lot, and I don't know if you guys essentially need a pass-catching tight end. I mean, I like James O'Shaughnessy. You guys definitely need a banger, though. You guys need someone that can definitely get some big yards after catch and things like that. So it's all I think it's gonna be DJ Chark, Marvin Jones, Chenault, man. It's gonna feed through those receivers. So there's gonna be a lot of tight ends on the field for the offensive line. But anyways, man, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you for hanging out. Have a good rest of your night, you guys. We'll see you in another video. Thanks. Peace.